Floating head, be gone. Yes, you can see me a bit clearer today. Welcome to Sam's Trading Channel. Thank you for joining me on this fine Friday, which means CME is about to close its weekly, and no better place to just dive in with the price action. Hope you're well and you're looking forward to your weekend ahead. All right, so CME has got a mere 53 minutes left on this weekly candle, which you can see is a fairly rejective candle, although on their own trading candles, it's not something that I do. You can do what you want, but you know, I don't think it's particularly effective as a trading strategy on its own. What does this say to me, this price action? Well, unfortunately, the consolidation occurs on a weekly, continues on a weekly time frame because there's been no volatility expansion. I was hoping it'd be this week, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on CME here. So you can see to get, excuse me, any volatility expansion, CME needs to close a weekly candle above about 71, probably and a half, 71, low 71s, and it's a little bit away from that at the moment. So unlikely. Is that bad news? Good news? Well, it's kind of like it's a bit like it's a bit of a nothing news. Sideways. Now it is sideways, but on this weekly time frame, you can see here there's definitely a higher low. There's yet to be a higher high, but that's a weekly uptrend, and it remains above the midpoint of the Bollinger Band as long as Bitcoin is closing CME weekly candles above 63,000. The momentum pivot is 66,000, so that will continue green. The MACD will continue green and momentum to the upside, very likely by the end of this week, which is in only 52 minutes, and it's basically hovering around just shy of 70,000. So momentum's definitely still to the upside on the weekly time frame. We just haven't had volatility expansion yet. Let's hope it's next week because it's getting tedious. Right, jumping over to the lower time frames now, and I'm I've got a little ascending channel here. Let's get rid of that. I was just musing earlier. But you can see on the daily time frame on Bybit here that, the pullback continues, and I'll show you that in a bit more detail on the 4-hour. But, effectively above the midpoint on the Bollinger, which is coming in at sort of 68 and change, this remains above the top side of the 20 SMA, and that's where you get your upside moves. So even though volatility has cooled off a little bit on the daily time frame, it's still postured for another upside move rather than an impulsive downside move. And from the point of view of momentum, looks like MACD will turn red, although it's still momentum to the upside. It's just cooling off. In fact, it turned red yesterday, and it will continue to be a red shade unless Bitcoin in the next 3 hours or 4 hours, more or less, can close back above basically 71,000, which I would suggest is probably pretty unlikely. This nice uptrend remains intact. There's no great shakes. It's not the, blowing us all away kind of move that we were looking for this week. Never mind, time, give us some time. So this is the 4-hour time frame, and you can see the pullback is now going sideways. So at the support resistance level that I pointed out yesterday, I said there was a zone somewhere between 68.5 and 69.5, and that's where it is. It's right between those two levels. It's going sideways, and you can see the 4-hour volatility expansion looks like it's going to cool off now. And, well, what does that mean? Well, probably more sideways. Maybe slightly sideways and down, but more sideways than down. Momentum, however, has flipped to the downside, just about. I mean, it's close. And it'll continue falling unless Bitcoin can pull its socks up about $1,000. So it seems unlikely, particularly in the next 4 hours, but you never know. And you can just see this is going sideways. So for Bitcoin to prove itself, does need to get back above this high on the 4-hour and obviously the daily. As I said yesterday, what wouldn't look good would be, well, obviously it's breaking down from here, but if Bitcoin did come up, hit sort of 72.5 and then turn back down, that would be a double top, and that would change the situation a little bit from one that's very much looking for more upside to one that's maybe looking for a bit more of a consolidation. Bad news would be closures below this area, which is basically, it's like 65.5. It's somewhere between 65 and 66. I think that's less likely at the moment, but a retest down there is possible. But I still think that, excuse me, next week is probably the week that does it, that makes the break. All right, there we are. Nice, short, snappy video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And join me on Monday. Have a nice weekend. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.